Hi guys, welcome back to the channel for another video. This is a video I always intended on making. However, my hand has been slightly forced on this quite recently. This is the Cybergun, otherwise known by VFC as the OEM, but licensed by Cybergun, FNS-9. And this, until quite recently, has pretty much been my favourite pistol that I've owned. Airsoft pistol, that is. I do love the Glock platform, and I'm very taken at the moment with the G19 by Tokamarui. However, this, I would say, out of the box, is the most impressive to actually mess around with and fire, because it is insanely snappy. Now, unfortunately, I did intend on making a video about this. I just never got round to it. And to a certain degree, I kind of wished I had done sooner. And this pistol now is basically a write-off. It is basically scrap now. We have some issues with it. First of all, I'm just going to show you around the pistol, see what we've got. We can see some bits and pieces. You will possibly notice a couple of little issues. I will explain those once I've introduced you to the pistol, and then we'll go from there. Okay? Right, guys, so quick walk around it then. So we have the Cybergun made by VFC, the OEM VFC, FNS-9. Now, obviously, they also make the FNX-45, which is a fantastic replica as well. And if you haven't had one or messed around with one, I suggest you get one. I've got the one which came OEM'd with the steel slide and love it. I really wished I'd managed to get a steel slide version of this. You'll discover why soon. But yeah, I was only able to get the alloy slide version, which basically, from what I understand, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, if any of you guys know different in the comments, do let me know. But when VFC release a new pistol, they do a very small quantity of them, I believe, potentially for particular retailers, as a deluxe model, which comes with steel slides on certain models. Certainly the FNX had it, the FNS has had that treatment, along with all of their Glock series before they were reboxed for Umarex. So, yeah, wish I'd got one of those now, but there you go. If any of you guys know of one, do let me know. I'll be interested to try and get one. Anyway, so looking on the outside of the pistol then, as you can see, it's a striker-fired style pistol. It's got a nice beaver tail on the back there. Sights-wise, we've got some nice open sights here. It is not cut for a RMR. Magazine-wise, you've got quite a large capacity magazine. Quite wide and chunky, gas fill valve on the back as well, so nice. You've got the FN logo on the bottom of the magazine. Got these strange lugs on the front here, which is your mag release, which is ambidextrous, like the FNX. You can press this either side and it will release the mag either way. So I can drop it from this side or from this side, and it does exactly the same. So a really nice feature of the pistol there. Externally, we've got a metal slide, a metal outer barrel, metal sights, metal controls, plastic trigger, and polymer trigger, sorry, and a polymer lower. The internals we'll go into in a moment, and I'll explain about those shortly. On the bottom here as well, you've also got what I believe to be a unique serial number, which is nice. And obviously you've got your Picatinny rail on the front here. Other than that, obviously your genuine FM markings on the slide. 9mm here, 9mm on the top of the barrel. Made in USA, and some other FN markings on the side there. I'm not even going to try and butcher reading that. So, other than that, externally, it's a non-threaded outer barrel. We can see that obviously you got your inner barrel poking through there as well. Now, the one thing that I really, really loved about this pistol was how snappy it was. It is insanely snappy for a stock pistol. Usually you expect to have to upgrade recoil springs to get anything anywhere near as snappy. But what we'll do is we'll break it down, we'll have a look at the internals, we'll get it back together, and then I'll explain what the issue with this one is. Okay guys, so to take the pistol down, we want to remove the magazine, we want to have the pistol cocked, and then you want to draw the slide back so that it's locked back, and then you can rotate this lever here around 90 degrees, and then you can release the slide and the slide will come off. If you look under here, you can see we've got a nice large nozzle here, and this I would go as far to say is probably one of the largest nozzles I've ever seen on a pistol. It pretty much takes up, it's a strange shape, but it takes up the entirety of the inside of that slide. There is a metal insert which is screwed in on one side, and other than that, the rest of the inside of this slide is the nozzle, which is amazing, and it does a fantastic job. It is literally, insanely snappy. And you got your hop-up adjustment just here. Obviously, got our recoil guide rod here as well. And it is an ambi gun as well, as I should have mentioned on the outside. You've got ambidextrous mag catch both sides, and then obviously slide catch on both sides as well. So fully ambidextrous. On the slide, like I said, this is a metal slide, metal out of the barrel. The paint finish is not the best. One nice unique part of this as well is you've got the mock extractor, which you can see when the slide starts to come back, does move out of the way, so you don't get that indicator to show the there's round in the chamber, and then as that comes back, that pops back out, which is a nice feature. Let's remove the recoil guide rod. Quite a snappy spring in that. And then also your outer barrel. Your outer barrel is spring loaded as well. You can see there's a small spring on the front there as well. I've got a maple leaf in this at the moment, and it does shoot great. Now I'll talk about some other bits and pieces on this shortly. So we'll get this in here, and you can see we've also got our nozzle here, and you can see how large that nozzle is. It's absolutely huge. Now, one unique part of the FNS-9 is how the cocking system works. Now, what this has, it does have a hammer. You can see the nozzle comes really far back, and the hammer sort of situated in this last little part of the slide. Now, to cock the action, the hammer isn't like a Glock where it's on a roller. It is just a fixed hammer. And as the slide comes back, it pushes, this little tab pushes against the hammer to cock it. And then as it then comes forwards, you would think this would catch on it, but actually it is spring loaded, and that falls out of the way as the slide comes forwards. A fantastic idea, really clever, really well thought out by VFC. I was really impressed by that. You can see it working just there. So yeah, great idea. The return spring on this one is a little bit sluggish, but it doesn't seem to affect it at all. But you can just see from the piston head how large that nozzle is, massive. So we'll pop this back in for now. Get that back in. We'll go through this in a moment. If you've seen anything wrong already, bear with, I am going to go into that. We've got a lower down here. Now, if we look at our hammer assembly, you can see on here, like I said, it is like a normal fixed hammer, no bearing wheel on it. The internals of this are steel. The hammer, the trigger bar, the valve knocker, valve locker, and the sear are all steel. So you got no worries with them wearing out at all. Pulling the trigger, you can see the hammer falls forwards. And it is a strange shaped hammer. It is just like a triangular shaped thing. But you can see it's quite a tough spring. The rails here are normal, VFC aluminium. And all your trigger and everything and your slide catches are all steel as well. The trigger's quite unique as well. Very similar to a Glock in that it has a sort of extra safety here. You can see the little bit at the back moving out of the way as I pull on that. And the actual action of the trigger, you get a little bit of a take up and you feel a nice positive firm wall there, and slight pull on it, a little squeeze, and then it breaks. I'd probably say, I don't know, 2.5, maybe 3 pounds tops. So yeah, a real nice responsive trigger there. Anyway, let's put this back together. Let's put this back on. We need to put the slide back on. Now, this pistol does have an issue, so bear with me while I try and get this back together. Okay, we'll lock that back, flip that round, drop the slide. Okay, now I am going to fire this, just dry fire it for you, just so you can see how snappy it is. This is not long for this weld anyway, so I might as well see it out in style by showing it on the video. And you'll see just how loud and snappy this is from this. So you can see really snappy, really loud as well. Got a great report, really quick follow-up shots. Fantastic little pistol, really, really good. Now, I said to you, this one is not long for this weld. You've just seen it functioning fine there. So what are the issues I've got with this one? Well, there are a couple. Now, I mentioned to you already about the slide. You might have noticed on the front of the slide here, there is a little bit of a funny mark here. Now, I only noticed this a few weeks ago. And if we actually look, if I remove my thumb, you can see, potentially, the front of the slide is actually bowed out. It is completely bowed out here. It was flat here, and you can see it comes out at an angle and kicks out here. It wasn't like that before. If we have a look at the insides, I'll take the recoil guide rod out. In fact, actually, if I leave the recoil guide rod in, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about here. Look how it's contacting that recoil guide rod. There's a stopper on that, and you can see there's a massive gap around there. If we have a look with this out and take the outer barrel out, which again is an issue, I'll show you that in a moment, you can see there is daylight through there. There is one hell of a crack. Now, it's a real shame this has happened, but I can't say as I'm surprised. If you look at the front of this slide, look how thin the metal is here. It is crazy thin. Now, I'm not a big fan of Umrex VFC Glocks. I have a couple, but I only have particular models because I'm not a big fan of the Gen 4s, because it has a very large opening here at the front for the recoil guide rod, and the material in here is absolutely minuscule, and they crack all the time. And I can see exactly the same thing has happened here in just a slightly different location. We've got a horrible crack here, and basically that whole front is about ready to come off. In fact, if I pushed on that far enough now, I think that would just snap off. Which, you know, such a large nozzle on here, the recoil is crazy for an aluminium slide or alloy slide. Really, really, really heavy. So you would think that they would do something about beefing up the front here, but apparently not. And there's no reinforcement here whatsoever. You know, there's no reinforcement on this to try and keep the, you know, look how thin that is. It's tiny. If it's going to fail, this is always where it's going to fail. And I've spoken to a few people who do build pistols and do repairs, techs and stuff like that. And I've mentioned it to them, and they've never seen a problem with them. But looking at how thin that is there, I just can't see how, you know, and maybe mine's, you know, badly machined or molded, but I just see that is going to be a failure point every single time. So anyway, that's the slide. So what's been happening there is, because it is so snappy, the slide's been coming back with a lot of ferocity, and you can really feel that when you do fire it. It's quite stout, and obviously what's happening is the force is just being directed at this point here, which is what's caused that crack. Now, if we look at the outer barrel, some keen-eyed of you might have already seen this. Look at the top of the outer barrel. That is bent in. And again, it's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be completely flat. So, yeah, you know, this is now causing sort of issues because you can see this isn't bottoming out as it should be now. It's positioned badly. But yeah, you can see with that bit bent down now, that is causing, significant issues with this, being in the correct position. So we've got issues there. So that's not great. We also have another issue, and that is with the frame. Well, when I saw the damage to the slide, I thought, damn, okay, I'm going to need to get a new slide. And then when I saw the outer barrel, I thought, damn, I need to get an outer barrel as well. Well, let's have a look at the frame, shall we? Now, if you think about what's happening here with the slide coming back, we've got these stoppers here, which is the slide is coming back and hitting against these. Well, guess what? These are also breaking out of the frame. If you look here, you can see. Now, I suspected maybe this was a separate piece, but it's not. If you look in the front here, you can see it's completely broken away. Same on the other side, in exactly the same place. Speaking to some techs about this, they've never heard of any issues with these. So I've obviously got unlucky, but, this looks like it should be able to take a lot of force. Now, to be fair, it could be the fact that the slide has cracked and bent that part over, which is then the slide coming back and hitting at a different angle has caused this failure. Maybe it's made a certain point at the back here where it's fractured it. I don't know. But basically, for this to be fixed now, I need a new slide, a new outer barrel, and a new frame. And there is nothing aftermarket available for these. Like, there is a steel slide available, and a steel outer barrel, I believe. But they're constantly sold out. And if you can get hold of them, they are crazy expensive. There's no aftermarket frames because, why would there be? That frame looks great as it is. So basically, I'm going to have to go to VFC, and I have tried to contact them, but they're not the best at getting back to you straight away about how much it's going to be for these parts. Now, obviously, fixing these things is what I do on this channel. So, in an ideal world, I would get the parts and fix it. However, if we think about it, how much is the slide going to be from VFC brand new? 25 quid, easily. I would say probably more than that. I need a new outer barrel, probably another 25. We're at 50. Frame, let's say that's another 25. We're at 75 quid. This pistol you can pick up for about 110. It's probably not worth it, because as I pull this apart, I can guarantee you I'm going to find something else that's broken. 100%. Something else is going to break. These little screws that hold this guide rail in are probably not going to come out. The fact that these things have broken, it could be that the guide rod's, almost at the point where it's going to break. The hop unit might be damaged now. There might be something else in the frame that's misaligned now or bent or damaged that I just can't see. So, as much as it sucks, I think my time with the FNS-9 is at an end. And it sucks, really, because I love this pistol. To end it on such a somber note, it's a shame, but I can't recommend this pistol to you guys. I love it, personally. I think it's great. And as an experience to mess around with and shoot, it is brilliant. Really, really good. Is it the most accurate thing in the world? Probably not. It's similar to a Glock. But, just actually the feel of shooting it is fantastic. So snappy, so crisp. One of the best handling pistols I think I've ever messed around with in Airsoft. So, I can't recommend it to you guys. I wish I could, because I love it. But I just can't with these failures and how thin that bit of metal is there. I can see me getting another slide or getting another one of these and having the same failure point. And it's worth bearing in mind, I didn't buy this used. I bought this pistol brand new. And I've probably shot, I don't know, a couple of hundred rounds through it, maybe 500. There were a couple of occasions I did use red gas in this. Now, you might say, with it being as snappy as it is, you probably didn't need to use red gas, and that's probably why it's failed. And you could be right, but I don't see why they would make something that cannot handle a slightly higher pressure gas, considering in this country, you know, when we get around, you know, the cold temperatures in wintertime, okay, I don't skirmish in winter. I don't skirmish anyway, but, you know, I don't skirmish in wintertime. And, you know, if I do shoot them in wintertime, I will use red gas anyway, just to sort of make sure they are going to cycle. So I don't see how you could just run it on green gas all year round. You're going to have to up the pressure at some point, I think. But I'm keen to see what you guys think. You know, let me know in the comments. What are your experiences? Have you had any experience with the FNS-9 so far? Do you like it? Have you had the same issues? I'm really keen to know. Also, if anybody knows of the steel slide available somewhere, do let me know in the comments. Anyway, guys, there we go. FNS-9. What a great thing. Maybe not. Anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, subscribe. Let me know what you think I should do with this. Are we going to bin it off? Maybe get another one and do a proper review on it? Or is that it for the FNS-9? Or do I get the parts and do I fix it? You guys let me know. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one.